Episode 10.
Episode 10.
Stevie Zeke, Joel. How's it going?
You know, dude, yeah. Well, I'll go on next tiers of eye contact. Dude, it's, so, I'm going to tell this is the best story possible. This is the best way to, when you avoid looking at people, for some reason, you'll find one person who wants to pull your gaze and come up to you and give you kisses and ask you why you're not looking at them. And I hope
you have to be over 5'10" for that to happen.
No, but but here's the thing.
You have to have that salt and pepper hair.
But it's the good friends, everything. Like noticing friends, everything. Like I said, Joel, if your style, health, everything is good, this should be like a goal for like guys in general. It's like, be doing your own shit so you could be the guy looking somewhere else, and you look somewhere. We'll use your journey. You're looking at your journey so much that the person who can be the lady in the red dress can grab you by the shirt and give you some besos. Like,
are you speaking
from experience?
On experience?
Is it? Who was the lady in the red dress?
But I can't say. I just
does she have red hair?
I can't say, but I will tell you that.
Was it a magical experience?
Well, for me, I know I've already had this, this has already been, as Joel's already said, I've had this experience on a, scale. I'm I've had it happen in various different ways, but this way was the most, this way was probably the, when you're just fuck, I'm this person was damn, I just need Mickey D's tonight. I just need to get my food and go.
And you were the Mickey D's?
And I was the Mickey D's in their eyes. I just gotta grab it and go. Not realizing that I'm gonna...
Was it late?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
It was late.
Yeah.
But
Stevie Zeke is no quick meal.
I am not... But that's where I stay in my character. I am not a quick meal.
Yeah.
I'm actually,
Let me fix this camera real quick before it's bothering me.
Wow, what's up?
I know that your whole leg is getting in it.
Oh, yeah, yes.
How's that look? Chill.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Right,
you're good.
cool.
And...
I can see his whole leg halfway in the camera.
and think about this, RJ, just as a cool goal for anyone. It doesn't have to pertain to gals. It just has to pertain to anything.
Yeah.
You should be so into what you're doing that let someone else be let's, how did I say, for once being, I feel like I've always done this, but being the quiet person and quote unquote, I guess, studying your own business, whatever you're doing, but being on your, how did I say, God, what is the word? When you ignore everything, the person that will notice you is probably a rarity. You know what I'm saying? It could, because it's for some people, they think so much about others that they think they're ignoring other people when you're probably not, because you're thinking about it too much. But when you're truly thinking about what it is that you're doing, or whatever, like I said, it could be health, style, whatever it is that you're into. When you're really into it, the rewards are the strangest things, because you got to keep going. You got to keep going, and someone's gonna be like, "What are you doing?" I've tried to
a little side quest.
Yeah, a little side quest.
Yeah.
I've tried to get you to notice me for weeks.
But you're not even looking at me.
But I'm not even looking.
Yeah.
And when it hits you right in the face, you're like, oh damn! Oh damn! I really wasn't I really wasn't noticing, and then I couldn't help but have a huge smile on my face, because I was like, yo, this is where I'm at right now. Damn, this is a pretty
it feels good to be wanted.
It does.
Place
it does.
to be.
But I know that
a nice spot.
I know that's, how should I say, that when you have, I don't want to say worked for it. I'm just saying when you've developing, or we were saying, when you're on your journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you know what it took to get to one point of a mountain, you can sit back and look back for a second, but you got to keep going. It's one of those things where I'm I would tell you I wish it felt like an accident, but it wasn't. In terms of I know I just mind my own business, because going back and think, because I always like to how to say, not overthink, but not take things as what's the word? I'm somebody who will always have a level of that humbleness. Okay, why? I'm not gonna sit there and be like, hey, let's get let's just get into everything and let me just throw everything out the window. I'm no, I'm on purpose. Like I'm on purpose every day of the
You
week.
probably avoided a lot of situations by doing that,
Yes.
by not jumping into something right away.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You're in control.
Yeah.
But I will admit, given Isaac's stature and looks,
Yeah.
it's equal to about like a Tesla and a gold chain. Where people like Arjun and I would need a Tesla and a gold chain to get that sort of
Or
attention.
we have to be a little bit more forward and be the other person on the other side, where we're the ones walking up to the girl.
Like, I'm 5'11", Isaac. I didn't even make the cut.
I'm 5'7".
But but like I said, it's
Juiceless.
everyone. But we're all. But this is where I say, like I was telling Joel, everyone is on the same level when you're doing everything of like the manner.
When you
like
have
it's
a
like,
Tesla
when
and a
you
gold chain.
and exactly like when you have, like I said, the base things, the health, and I would say style. And I'm not saying style how you aesthetically look, like your own style. Like it's like, oh, what is your style of talking? What do you're better off owning what you're doing and having a person walking away and being like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing my thing.
I gotta take you out to the hippy dippy festivals in the forest in the desert.
You'd be like Xerxes out there.
No, because like what you're talking about is like what radiates from like every single person that's there.
Damn, dude.
It's like not. It's not like a sense of like, oh, this person's too good looking. Yeah, is there feedback?
No, it's good. It's just
Okay.
headphones.
But yeah, it's not like, oh wow, that person's so attractive. It's more of like, wow, that person's radiating incredible energy that I could feel. Like I know this person is on their shit, working out, eating right, meditating, just getting the jug.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for you to see a room full of Stevie Zeeks, not just you in the room.
The only occurrence that has happened is when I went dancing a few years ago in Tarzana.
Tarzana, where's
Yeah.
that?
It's like some outskirts part of LA with other, like I said, the Latino culture there is like there's a lot of dudes who look like me in that area. Like especially going, so people late at night you either go at like in LA raves, or the raves are deep cut, like underground, what is it, like after
Warehouse
parties,
party.
right?
Yeah, warehouse parties.
But then there's the Latino side, which is let's go bachata and salsa till 4 a.m.
Ooh.
And when you like dudes, most dudes in there look like me.
Yeah.
And it is so, and any guy who is, like I said, every guy in there is legit gorgeous.
I think that's a good point. I think not every culture, but everything has a group. And as long as that group is dedicated to whatever that thing is, they radiate incredible energy because they put so much passion and like effort to be a part of that group.
Yeah. And that's it.
Because when you're talking about this, I'm thinking about that one time I went to like a rockabilly concert with you guys. It was like a punk concert down at the observatory. It was a long time ago. But like the Hispanic rockabilly. Is that, I don't even know if it's
Who
rockabilly.
did we see?
I don't know.
The observatory?
Yeah, observatory.
Who did we go with?
Garrett, Tommy. But it was just like a rockabilly vibe. I don't even know if rockabilly is the right word.
It was like a rocker foo vibe.
Yeah, rocker foo, like punk-ish. It was a vibe though.
Yeah.
And people just that vibe was interesting to be a part of as an outsider.
People just owning it, rocking it.
Yeah, because you feel immediately out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you feel immediate out of place, that's when you know that you're a part of something. And that's what everyone...
Those people embody it so well that...
You search for that kind of thing.
It's like, man, I wish I can embody something to this degree.
Exactly. Yeah. I think observatory just in general, if you go any night, you could really just feel that sometimes.
But
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Embodying the Orange County spirit in the observatory.
It really is. It's a trip. Especially
Right,
everything that
yeah.
has happened. Yeah.
Tell us about the fire spinning party. And update us on the fire spinning familia.
Absolutely. So the fire spinning party was my first party. My first paid gig. Yeah. I've been doing fire spinning for like festivals, and I get like free entry, free food, free
that's cool.
tent to stay in. So I consider that not paid, but like it's essentially paid. But this was the first time where someone wanted me to entertain their party and actually pay me for the service. So that was a pretty cool experience. And I actually was intimidated because I had no idea like how to conduct myself as far as like I was there for an hour. Do I spin for an hour? That's a lot of energy to take to do that for an hour. But once I got there and got started, like it was too easy to not, like I just kept going and going and going.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think they were pretty stoked about that, because as soon as I dropped one of my props, I picked up another prop and did another thing. Something that I gotta keep in mind is like just not picking the music. That was like too stressful. Just having my girlfriend run back and forth to the DJ booth, like picking every song for me. I think just having a playlist, click and play, and just letting it go is the way to do it. But
maybe you can decide on like a BPM.
Yeah,
music must be of a certain BPM to perform to.
Yeah, and I think I was a little bit in my head about the theme of the party being Tulum, especially like the whole family was like Hispanic, and I have no idea what I don't know Spanish, so I didn't want to play a song that's like depressing, because I know that's like a thing in like in the Hispanic culture is like it could sound very uplifting, but it could be super depressing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't want to ruin that, so I chose songs that did not have Spanish, but I was in my head about that. I think just letting the audience play with the fire more, like the little kids were super stoked to hold the staff that was on fire and then spin it a little bit. I think I inspired them to like play with fire safely, responsibly, because there's when you see fire in a control state, it's definitely more inviting to play with, opposed to like just hairspray and a flamethrower, because it's not very controlled.
Lighting a piece of wood on fire.
It's not inviting to like actually play with, but then you see a ball and you can swing it. That's like inviting you to actually flow with it. So that party went really well. I'm excited to do it in the future. And then with my Flow Mies, or my Flow Familia, we finished our video for Burning Man. And it was incredible, but I was so sick that night. So I was like...
It was like a routine?
Yeah, so there's 50 of us, and it was a 15-minute routine. And each 2 minutes had a different group of individuals that had their own choreo. So you're going from 2 minutes to doing something, jumping off stage, and then if you're in multiple choreos, you got to jump back into the shot and do another group. So I was a part of 3 groups, and I was throwing up all night. I was so sick, and I was just trying to keep it together. They're telling me, "Smile, RJ." I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna lose my shit right now," but I got through it. They took my worst take, which is not a big deal. They took the one that I felt least confident in. However, I look back at it, I look on camera, and it was not that bad. And we'll find out in a couple weeks if we're going to Burning Man.
Dude.
We probably are, because I looked at other people's audition tapes, and we are definitely a step above just because of the time we put into it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like on a proper wave.
Yeah.
Like really, you're like on a proper like surf wave. A little scary, a little skeptical, a little like damn, will I make the drop or not? Like.
Yeah, but that wasn't even the hard part. Like I feel like I just got the paddle out down, because we still have to get to Burning Man. We still have to survive Burning Man.
Yeah, how are you all gonna get to Burning Man?
Yeah, no, that's a journey in itself. Like we have to pitch in all of our money into getting like a huge U-Haul, a huge semi to carry all of our bikes.
You can't tell them that you're going to Burning Man.
Who?
U-Haul.
Oh no, U-Haul. No, you can't. You can't tell any of the rental places. In fact, they know like what dates are Burning Man, and they kind of have like red flags to make sure they search their equipment.
You gotta send the most clean cut guy to go rent it.
Yeah.
I can't send any long hair fools there.
Yeah.
Like, what's this wavy guy doing getting a U-Haul the weekend of Burning Man?
Exactly.
Like, they already know.
So some benefits of having long hair now, I'm not going to be the one that has to be sent over. But
gets you off the hook.
Yeah, some benefits. Yeah, just getting through Burning Man, because the actual performance won't be until we actually until they burn the dude on fire, the 50 feet, 100 feet, however big they make it this year. So we actually burn right before he catches on fire, which is the second to last day.
Have you ever been to Burning Man?
No. So that's going to be a unique experience too, because I'm only a year into my fire spinning journey.
But you did pretty good.
Yeah, dude, you're doing good though, bro.
Straight
Thank
stick
you.
to Burning
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, I had my eyes on Burning Man before I got into fire spinning.
Yeah.
And it was always like how do I get an invite?
Well, this is your way.
Yeah. Once you heard about a group that went, you're like, okay, I gotta be a part of that group.
Yeah.
So I've been low key kind of like making friends with this group for a while, ever since I started.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And now I built some like genuine relationships. Yeah. And I think it's cool because people come and go from the group because Burning Man's a lot for, I haven't experienced it, so it could be a lot for me too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people take like a year, they go in for a year, take a year off, or go in for 2 years, take a year off. So we have a lot of individuals that are already telling me that they don't want to do it next year because it was too much work last year and then too much work this year.
Damn.
Yeah.
To go to Burning Man?
Yeah, go
to perform at Burning Man.
To perform and like be a part of, like, these are people that took leadership roles within our group.
Oh.
So you're not getting paid. There's like
Labor
6 months of like just supporting the group, and it feels good to support the group. It feels good to be part of a group going to Burning Man, but there's just so much time and energy that you put into it. It wears you down.
Yeah, for not having any money.
Yeah.
Like glory or anything.
Yeah, and these are young. Some of them are pretty young too, so they want to experience. They want to experience their young lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that sounds like really that you know what I like about that, RJ? Like, it's cool seeing you go, like, even talking about like the goal, like even being there. Like, dude, that's gotta be so. What is it? Like, refreshing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Being like, oh, dude, I got something to do.
Yeah.
And it's all within like immediate reach. And I'm not saying it took like I'm just saying stuff that you could be like, oh, it's not like a dream. It's like, okay, I actually have things to do. I gotta plan it out. I gotta get there.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And the thing that's been firing me up and like my newfound motivation, because the first thing is like when you touch the fire, you're like, oh shit, this is hot. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. And then you get comfortable with it. You start doing basic movements, and then you start to do that in front of like friends that never seen fire, and they like think it's really cool. They pump you up, and then you do that in front of people that know how to spin fire, and they think it's cool because of your progress in such a short amount of time. But after that 5 month mark, it's like, okay, what else do you have to do? What else can you do, or what else can you show us?
Can you
like,
offer?
Yeah, like what is your style? Because like you're doing everything. You're like riding the bike, but like what's going to be your style? You're going to be like a mountain biker, or you're going to be a BMXer, like you're going to race this bike, like, and then show us like how you're going to move the bike.
Are you spinning it recreationally or like exactly like recreational, hobby, competitive?
Yeah, like
how the discipline of
how serious are you about this?
Yeah,
and I think that's been a very unique perspective I've been having, is because when you go to a meetup with like 25 individuals that are all know how to spin fire and they all know how to spin it well, it's hard to get their intention to you. It's hard to get them to look. So that's my new thing, is I want to be so good that they have to look. And that's not my quote.
They can't help but to look.
Yeah, that's a actor's quote. I think it's
was it Stevie Zeke?
Stevie Zeke. No, it's either George Clooney or it's one of those old guys. But yeah, he said that you be so good that they have to watch. So that's my new thing. It's like I want to master one of the props in a way that's unique to my style before I get to Burning Man. That way, people that I look up to and that motivate me to spin, they see me and they'll have to watch. That's my new thing. Not like not ego play, but like more of a like I respect this art form so much.
And it will show.
Yeah.
That you're just giving to it.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself to the art form and embodying it, that people will feel like, I don't love fire spinning as much as this guy.
Or they'll fall back in love with it.
Yeah.
Because they'll see this new generation, new wave of thinking. Because I definitely have everyone has their own unique perspective on something. And then the prop I'm deciding to use, not many people use it, so that in itself is even already better. A challenge. Yeah, because there's no tutorials. Like it's like you learn by slowing down a video so slow that you have to like frame by frame understand the movement and like what is going through the person's mind to get into the next the position. And then you start to realize that you don't go forward, you go backwards. That took me a long time. You have to go back, so you can watch the whole video, go backwards and figure out what got them to each step and then break it down. So that's been a pain in the ass.
But a good pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, well, frustrating. It has been. It has not been fun. I won't lie, because it's like a very slow progression.
But dude, it's all worth it, dude. Like really, because I was just talking to someone about MMA the other day. I don't watch it as much, but one of the reasons why is like I think people like watching it because that's like a commercial value.
Yeah.
I think of like oh, that's one commercial value that someone could see that could be like you might not know why you like watching it. But when you hear, how to say, you might not know that guy's story, but then you're like, oh, damn, you did, like, it's one of those things that when you hear the story of how the person got there to make that look the way they're making it look, you're like, oh, fuck, dude. But then, like you said, you have to, like, do it, and then no one else is going to understand.
No.
Not even, like, one lick of it.
Yeah. Even the fighters that watch the other fighters.
Yeah.
Because they don't truly understand like what got that person to get to that point.
Yeah.
To get to that point where they're willing to jump in his cage and just get their ass kicked multiple times before you even get good.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique. I think that's like a really good comparison is because like fighting would be nothing without the UFC.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like something that you're like that one kid in school did. After school, like, or that one friend's dad that just could kill everyone with his hands. Like it was just something you talked about, but now it's like everyone talks about UFC.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool to be a part of the generation that fire spinning like pops off in that way.
Oh, and it will. It will.
Everything does. Everything has its moment.
Yeah, it'll come around.
Yeah. And I don't even care if it's not when I'm like in it. It would just be cool it'd be cool to see how that takes that art.
You can be happy for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's still, people are still coming up with stuff every day. It's so cool.
You want to know? I'm pretty certain it'll come back around because
Mm-hmm.
right now, they're like rave is back. Not that it ever died, but like rave scene, house music.
I think old
clubs,
school rave is back.
old school.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an easy segue.
yeah. It's like we see it. Like, dude, LA has, like, I'm telling you, RJ, LA has never been better.
Mm.
Like, I really don't. For anyone who moved from Orange County, I'm telling you right now, the scene out here is fucking like
popping off.
It is popping off. Like, dude, it is like
literally a lot of poppers.
Literally, this is probably. Like, we have never felt more LA than right now. We're living here in Orange County.
Yeah.
Like, and we're going for, like, fun things finally. Like,
well, let's talk about it. So I heard an interesting statistic that maybe our 50 viewers could look up and figure out and leave some comments. But I found out today from some random dude on social media that essentially doing all the math, and he did all the math because he likes math. He figured out that we actually are worse economically. We're worse than they were in the Great Depression. So the average salary.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, damn, dude, this sucks.
All this debt is worth it.
Life sucks right now. It's like, no, it does suck. In fact, it sucks more than the Great Depression, which is 10 years of supposedly the worst economic we've ever been. But however, the guy did the math, and we're actually worse than we were in the Great Depression. If you adjusted for inflation and whatnot, our average salary is worse than what it was in the Great Depression. So what does that cause? That caused a lot of people to figure out how to have cheap fun and come together and be more social.
Yeah.
And escape reality. That's the whole thing.
Dude, but what you're saying is, like, dude, it's right on point. Because that is really what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything
We're
that
creating some free fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is free fun.
Yeah.
And we're escaping reality. Because reality sucks right now.
It does.
Yeah, we're trying to get out of the matrix, man, the trap.
Ooh.
Because it's easy to be a part of the matrix or the trap or the cycle or the money machine when things are good. But when things are bad, it's really easy to be like, yo,
it's not worth it for us to enter that game.
I could just step this way. I could just
Yeah.
I just turn my head this way.
There's a lot of free love.
Yeah, free love, free perspective, free journeys, free trips.
Yeah.
Our parents had to work 30 years for a free trip.
Exactly.
And dude, in their free trip was having me and Joelle was their free trip. It's
yeah,
crazy.
It is a trip.
That's the trippiest part is that our parents.
Because the three of us we're not even thinking about kids.
Yeah.
But if times were good, we probably all have a little kid right now just running around.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. It'd be a trip.
It would be a trip.
Divine love of a child would be
magical.
Yeah.
But during these times, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
You need a divine love for a hobby.
Yeah.
A passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a cat.
Yes, or a cat.
What's the cat's up? Patches. Patches is huge.
Miss Patches.
Miss Patches. She's
The
a cool cat.
Or a dog.
Miss Patches has some confidence. She walked up to me like, "You're not going to do shit." I've never seen a cat just pull up on you.
Yeah, it's very rare cats are like that social. I've never been cool with cats until this one.
I've been cool with cats, and I've seen some social cats, but I've never seen some cat just like not even like think about hesitation, just beeline straight to me saying, "You're going to pet me right now." That was cool. You guys have a cool cat, cool home cat. You guys called it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the home cat.
Yeah,
the home girl.
Oh, with the home cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something I because we were hanging out with the cat, and I implore everyone go home and not implore, but like as a suggestion of how did I say understanding words of every day, right? I just read a Psychology of Persuasion book.
What's it called?
I'll pull it up. It's a 1980s book. Oh, I will list it I'm gonna put it in the comments or put it on the details for this
in
one.
The bio.
I'll put it in the bio. But
Sweet.
What I realize is how. So you know, and it's really hard, right? Like, you convince yourself to be whatever you want to be, right? So it's like, oh, you persuade yourself, like everything is a self-persuasion. But getting to the self-persuasion is really hard.
Yeah.
And one of the pods I talked about the last time was like, why do you convince yourself to water a tree? You know, like really, like think about this. Like people who love trees but don't think about the science behind why you like to water a tree.
Yeah.
You know, the tree's not giving any, how do I say, on a logical perspective. Like if I'm talking business, like monetary,
black and white.
Black and white. The tree's not giving you anything, just something you look at, doesn't change tomorrow, but you're still watering it. Or you're feeding that cat, or you're loving that cat.
And just for this metaphor, we're talking about like a tree that doesn't bear fruit.
Yeah. Just any old tree.
Basic
tree, right?
Yeah.
And that's like everyone to self-persuade. How the self-persuasion of why you want to see something grow is different in every other person, but the equation for every person is like, oh, that's the point of like this book. Like it talks about all the equations of persuasion of psychology.
Yeah.
And it's so vast. Like it's like, oh, you could be it's like, oh, if you're going through hard times, well, you're going to self-persuade yourself to make, like I said, love out of everything. And it's actually not going to be random. It's going to be a bunch of nuances that you've played to yourself of whatever the persuasion is in your mind of whatever your environment is. And you're going to keep self-persuading yourself, right? And one of the hardest ones just to like is to, how do you persuade yourself not to blame others? Like, how did I persuade myself to lose weight or get healthy? Like things that I'm now like thinking about more after that book.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, oh, it's not reading that book makes it feel like, oh yeah, I'm glad I read this book because clearly there's this psychologist has like, there's no randomness. It's like, oh yeah, there's a pretty calculated form of like where your brain is at and the words you're using and why you're using these words. And it makes me stutter. You know what I'm saying? It makes me stutter because I'm reading it and I'm just like, oh, we're going through starting our Jug Stuff as a business, and clearly I read this book and it's like there's a reason why. Like it's not happening out of like some illogical random thing, you know?
Yeah. I think a couple things that came in mind when you were talking was just like the motivation to get out of bed. Like you can take it like so many steps back all the way to waking up and from a deep sleep. Mission bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in general, just.
If you guys haven't experienced Mission Bar and you live in Orange County, go to Mission Bar.
Mission
Yes.
Bar, Lucy's
They paid
Pizza,
for that
Cold Stone
advertisement.
Coffee, Rack 'em Up Bar testing.
No, when you were talking, I was thinking about the image that, or the scene that popped in my head was the one in The Matrix. I like The Matrix. If you guys haven't.
Yes, it's
But
a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's the one where he knocks over the plant.
Yes.
And the girl looks at him and says, like, would you have knocked over that plant if I told you were going to knock over that plant? Or would you have knocked, like, that
Yes,
scene.
yes.
So that's an interesting concept that the book is talking about, is is it, repeat what you said? Because we got the information.
So, is watching something else grow for the cost of nothing is one of the deepest levels of persuasion, because and it's like it goes into the innate nature, like, you know why it's beautiful to have children? Because it's unconditional. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, that's you're giving.
I got it. So I was going to say to that is it that's like that nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
It's that big debate. And I think if you just take it one step further and you just realize when you let go,
yeah,
that's who you are.
Yeah.
That is who you are. Not like who you should be or who you were or who you're going to be. If you just let go, that is who you are. So if you let go of all thought and you just like, it's the hardest thing to do because we're constantly being grabbed for attention and constantly thinking. But if you could just, for a second, just think about who, like, if you could just, in the moment, think, like, who am I? I think that's what gets you out of bed.
Yeah.
On a weekend, when you have no reason to get out of bed. Like, if you have work, you have to go to work. You know?
Yes,
because you're just sitting there in your thoughts, and then you're just like, "Who am I? I need to get up. I'm going to get up.
Let's go see."
And no, but dude, think about the complexities too of even like the complexities, right? Think about this, like you have it, and it sucks because think about this: pain is the best persuasion to get. It's another chapter in this book about pain being the persuasion.
They say that in sales too.
And it's weird because in psychology, and reading that book makes me be like, oh, pain is the persuasion. But it doesn't necessarily...
But is pain the persuasion? Or Or is it a book telling you pain is...
No.
Like, that's the debate you could keep having.
Most of evolution is pain.
And I'm not saying it's a book. I'm saying no because I'm just saying for the sake of comprehensiveness. I want to know a person who's experienced one part of pain. You know what I'm saying? As a part to having no pain. Like, it's like, oh,
emotional
I just like,
pain,
like,
financial pain.
It's just like, oh, this book might cover one context of a certain person, but it's still nice to be like, oh, if a person has had one context or comprehensiveness of this, maybe that book might help me understand a person who might be going through this context of that book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Things that I'm like, oh, there are some things that I'm like, I guess that's the best word, the comprehensiveness of this. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, this, statistically, it's like, oh, a person's going to have all these complex things, and they're going to have to go through this list of things. Yeah. But then there's one thing that's going to break your fucking knees. and then you're going to be sitting there like, damn, my knees is busted. like, how do I get out to play basketball again?
Yeah. I think it's a good foundation point. But with, like, understanding people or, like, getting to know someone, you let them tell you their story. And I think shutting up and listening is the best way to learn about that person. And then using their words with them, because those are the words that they resonate with. I think, like, the most magical moment with me and my mentor was I was walking home one day, walked into his house with me and my little brother. And my mentor was talking to my little brother about me and telling my little brother, like, what I need to work on. And I heard the whole story because I could, like, they weren't that far. And I go up to him, I'm like, hey, like, I really do need to work on that. He's like, I know. I was like, well, how did you know? He's like, because you told me last week when everything that was going on with you. I just repeated everything you said. I just said that you need to work on it. It's like, damn. That's all.
He got you.
That's all it took.
He got you.
That's all. Like, I honestly thought, like, he just knew how life goes, and, like, that's, like, he already had it mapped out. But in reality, I was telling him all my concerns. I was telling him about all my problems. I was telling him I have to be more consistent. I was telling him I had to wake up earlier. I was telling him all the things I wanted to do. He remembered and just told me in a different way. By not telling me directly, but telling my little brother. And then once I heard it from a different point of view, I was like, fuck, I should just do all that. And he was like, yeah, you already told me that you wanted to do all that.
So why aren't you?
Oh, I am.
Why aren't
I am
you?
now. I am now.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a fascinating perspective of just like listening and then repeating and approving what the person said. If someone says that they...
Holding people accountable.
But
Not even accountable, just like you don't want to date that same girl.
Yeah.
So how am I going to stop you from dating that same girl? I'm going to repeat everything you say about that girl. So you say she's this, I'm going to say, yeah, you know...
We'll be reminded.
Yeah, you're just repeating what they have already told you.
Yeah.
And then when they're looking for the next one, you just say, hey, have you seen any of these qualities? And they're like, no, I haven't. It's like, okay, that probably sounds like a winner. And then if they say like, oh yeah, no, she never responds. It's like, well, your last girlfriend didn't respond. You sure you want to get right back into the same thing you've already been doing? Because that's going to be insanity. You're asking for the same results.
Yes.
You're expecting a different result.
You're expecting.
But you already told me that you don't like girls that don't respond. So don't get in the relationship.
Damn, RJ spit facts.
No, it's
funny.
It's effective listening.
And RJ, it's funny because that on the other side of the story is the tale of two fathers. That's what is the movie Bronx Tale. You have the bus driver father, and then you have the gangster, and then the kid's bringing home the kid's bringing home a lot of money from the gangster, and the dad's like, where'd you get this money? This money clean? Like, where'd you get this money? But then it's like, everything he learned from the street guy is what he needed for life, though.
Yeah.
And that's like the heartbreaking thing. You know, it's like you said, it's like you could hear the same thing, but when it comes from the gangster, sorry, but like when it comes from the gangster, it's like that the same thing, but because the perspective is different, it for some reason might hit you different.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is knowledge with books, and I don't want to say that what you're reading isn't valuable.
No.
It's just interesting to think that the secret to who someone is just listening.
Yeah.
And I've been caught up lately on just like putting people in boxes. I think that's like pretty not sad, but like in my opinion, a big thing about our mental awareness could be we're swinging too far with the pendulum to the left-hand side that we were so consciously not aware of people's mental health because we didn't know how to put it down on paper that we swung so far to the other side where we're so conscious that we want to put everyone in a box. We want to label who someone is or what they're dealing with and then give them something to help with that. But I think that's like that problem of telling someone that you are this, they're going to become that. Yeah, so like ADHD, like if you tell a kid they have ADHD, they're going to associate with themselves with ADHD. And then they're going to focus on ADHD, and then they're going to become someone that has ADHD because they're focusing on what those properties are or what those traits are.
Yeah, and it's weird because probably everyone does it. I remember you do it. I think I did it more when I was younger. Like, you would just have the thing in your mind. You know what I say? In your mind, you're like, oh, that person controlled you being happy, upset. Like, like, and then you know what the hardest one for me is when you've built someone up in your head at such a high standard that when they're not that, it real, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I realize it's all false. But it's weird when you go through that phase too, where I'm like, oh man, I put this person here, and then now that they're not there, or it's like, oh shit, this sucks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I put them there, and it like, but it's my fault. Like, why did I do that? You know, it's, Yeah, it
gets weird. Especially with chemical drugs. Like, just stuff that has been going around, or like, here, take this pill, it'll fix you.
But everybody has feelings of depression, anxiety.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Whatever. It's just to like a certain degree.
It's the human experience. It's what separates us from most animals.
Yeah.
The feelings. And if you turn off the feelings, you're just like an animal. There's nothing wrong being with an animal.
But what will anxious make you? What will depressed make you?
Yeah.
An alcoholic.
How do you cope with?
Yeah,
how do you cope with being human?
And look, when you get caught being an animal, you're gonna get killed like one too sometimes. And trust me, we've seen a few gazelles get killed amongst the race.
Yeah.
As you've been frantically going through through the bushes.
Yeah, I think we are fortunate enough to be living through a generation that is focusing on the human consciousness of like who we are. Like we're at that point where we are truly questioning like what it is to be human. Yeah, what is it? Like whatever it may be to you. We're definitely the generation that questions a little bit more, and we're not accepting just falling in place and going with the mundane, because like technology, as bad as it is, we're very fortunate that technology has shown us so many different perspectives that it's almost impossible to accept such a box system as before.
Life has really outdone itself. You can't help
but
to watch it.
You gotta even think the nature of fantasies has changed.
Yeah.
Like the nature of, so you gotta think before the nature of fantasy was just like, I don't even know. Look, maybe this is gonna be something I'm gonna have to look up, but I know the nature of fantasy is different now.
Yeah, it used to be just slay the dragon and close the book, but now it's like slay the dragon, go searching some more, find some treasure, go get the treasure stolen, find a girl.
Get a breakfast
burrito. Travel with a pod. One of the pod mates is like Jesus. Like it's just the fantasies are insane now. Yeah, because it's we're truly being opened up to perspective and like what the possibilities of life.
Yeah, and I will tell you, for me personally, it's been pretty. I'm good now, but it was pretty crippling before. Like there's too much, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like social media. It could be like going to school, like going to school and thinking that you failed, or going to do something and the thought of failure based on something that like was like non-existent at some point in human history, and
because it was such a straight line back before. It was just like you just go to school, get a job, have kids grow older, you go retirement, and you die.
Yeah.
But now it's like you could just like go to Thailand, come back, have kids, have a farm,
go back to Thailand,
go back to
bar.
Yeah, there's just so many unique ways that
Have you
can
been
live.
there yet?
Thailand, no. Australia, I've been to some countries, but I need to spend more time in countries that are less privileged than the United States, because there's some countries that are still living in that very linear path.
Yeah.
So you can almost go back in time in your own perspective, because they are living the way we used to live.
They're living ideal.
Yeah.
How everyone should be living.
Yeah, just surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, now you even got me thinking, like, yeah, even that is like a nature of fantasy. Their fantasy is still
to survive.
Just
beat the one dragon.
Where I'm still wondering, damn, when am I going to take old Sally Mae down to Hammerburger?
When am I going to find old Sally?
I know. When am I going to find old Sally
Sally
Mae?
Mae sends you letters every month.
She does, doesn't she? In the form of debt.
It's all really... This is the stuff that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
And then just figuring out how to get to the awareness of what you read about in biblical or religious texts. Just those guys that were truly getting the jug of the human experience and truly living life differently than everyone else.
Yeah. I think it was easier because there was only one way to live.
No, but you say it's easier, but then everyone would have been doing it. That's the problem with easy. If it's truly easy, everyone does it.
Or most people were caught up living, so they you had to have time to like.
No, these people had followers.
Yeah.
They had devoted followers that did not do whatever that person did. And I don't care what you believe in. It's on paper. They wrote stories about every religion about these people that did superhuman things. But if you think about it, can't be that superhuman if there's a bunch of them doing it.
Yeah.
They just got the jug differently. And I think that knowing that would be cool. How did they get it differently?
And I think that
maybe they ate some fermented fruits.
They ate some mushies.
They ate some mushies
yeah.
and they slayed other men.
Rotten oranges.
Yeah, they were just in the back, just chugging the acid.
Natural wines.
Yeah. No, I think that's part of it though. Just truly opening your perspective, and that's why we live in such a we live in a time where you don't have to take drugs and still expand your perspective.
Yeah. You get the choice to build the ladder or trampoline over the wall.
Yeah.
Or break the wall.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't even have to build a ladder. You could just punch a hole through the wall.
That's such a good analogy, because like back then it was just like you got to the wall, you're like, all right, I'm at the wall. But now it's like, yo, you see someone jumping over it, you see some fool breaking it, you see some guy climbing it. You're like, damn, what's over there?
You see a man meditating about getting through it.
Yeah, he just walks right through it. And now we got multiple walls.
Maybe he dreamt on what's the other side of the wall.
Yeah, I think just being in, that gets back to another thing that I was thinking about this morning. Actually, is just having that childlike mind, of just thinking of how amazing everything is, because then you could be grateful and happy every single day.
Yeah.
Because it got me thinking. The submarine stories got me thinking, because like the five or six individuals that lost their life on the submarine trying to get to the Titanic. I was thinking about that, and I was like, damn. They totally thought they were just going to go to the Titanic, come back up, and live their life. But when they got there, obviously everyone knows what happened. They died, and they're no longer going to be living. But that morning, they woke up with the idea that they're going to go down, come back up, and still live their life.
Yeah.
Like, when you got to really, truly just wake up every single day.
They didn't even have time to think about, regrets.
Yeah. So you really, truly just got to wake up every morning saying, like, dude, I'm still here.
They literally hopped in a jug and got the jug.
Yeah. So that made me really appreciate life. Especially seeing all the damn messed up memes about it. Because it's like, you're on a different path when you're like, yo, that's fucked. That's fucked up to be doing right now. I don't care who it is. To be joking about it, and you don't even know if they're dead yet. I know I'm on a different path because I know that's fucked up. They're doing that for clout. Like, I don't care who you are. That's not appropriate.
Out of pocket.
Yeah.
Out of pocket.
Yeah.
Out of pocket.
It's the woke culture given because they were like, people didn't like them because they were rich.
Yeah, but it's just like, these are just humans. They're just individuals, just like you and me.
I hope they didn't have any regrets because, man, those...
Nah, I don't. I think...
I just want to know how it all went down. Like, how quickly did things hit the fan?
Well, not supposedly, like, from what I know is that the submarine collapsed under pressure, and when it collapses under pressure, you can't feel anything because it happens that quick.
It's like,
yeah.
snap.
Yeah.
And what, it just shriveled up?
It doesn't matter about the shrivel or, like, what happened to the submarine. Your body will liquefy. Like, it just collapses.
Oh.
Yeah. You just basically combust.
So what was the fault, though? Like, was it not a submarine for that? Like,
well, there's a bunch of speculation, but, like, the submarine had no business being that far down. Yeah. Because, like, we've never even... Before that, I don't think we've had humans down at the Titanic. It's 15... Someone put a comparison on social media, like, how far it really is. And essentially, like, most animals that we know can't get that far down. Like, marine animals... Most marine animals can't get that far. And the ones that do get that far down are, like, the crazy-looking fish that you see.
Yeah.
Like the one with the light in the front of it.
But they stay down there.
Yeah, they can't go up because they're used to the pressure. And supposedly the pressure is, like, it's so strong that you literally your body will blow up. There is no, like, surviving that.
I just wonder, like, was there like a hissing sound?
No,
like,
no. It happens like that. Like as soon as it collapses because of pressure, it blows up.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there is no chance that they felt.
So
it.
the submarine blew up, or people blew up?
The submarine collapsed.
Like
yeah, like a soda can, it collapsed.
Oh, because there's a lot of water on top. It's a lot of weight.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And then the bodies felt the pressure because the submarine was holding all the pressure. Once that collapses and they feel the pressure, you literally just blow up.
It's like if you step foot on like a planet with like the heavy gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so quick you just get smashed into like flat.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. Which is way better than what everyone else thought they were doing.
The top of the smashing.
Because not to be morbid, but there was 6 or 5 people, and 2 of them were very experienced divers, and they know how like the equation from like how much oxygen was in the submarine to how many people there was and how much time they had left. So those 2 people, everyone speculated if you knew that you only had 10 hours and you could bump it up another 10 by killing someone, like that's the ultimate question. Are you going to kill someone to bump up your time to survive?
The only thing is, though, it seems like mathematically this whole thing would have never worked.
No, they had no business being down there. That's what everyone's pissed off about it. The company itself is fucked. The dude that created the company, the CEO, the owner, the founder, is dead because he went down there. The whole company's fucked. There's no way that they're going to... I hope to God that they don't still are a company after this.
That's so weird because, yeah, it seems like the numbers...
Super...
They would have never made it. If anyone's never been down there...
I was about to say, how would they even make it?
Everyone was telling them don't do it, and they still did it.
And they're like, we're going to be risk takers.
Yeah. And they're all risk takers, and that's how you... That's how you get that far. To get $1 billion, to be billionaires, like one dude was worth $250 billion or something like that. To get that amount of wealth, you have to be a risk taker. There is no way unless you inherited it. But there's no way you're getting that by yourself without taking risks.
What if it was a big like ruse to kill all those billionaires? To get rid of them. They're like, yeah, we knew this isn't gonna work, but
you could spend so much time on like the what ifs in the conspiracy theories and go so far down the rabbit hole. To this day, I'm still a flat earther because I went so far down that I'm highly convinced that the Earth is flat. But like that's how bad it gets. Like you can get to a point where you are speaking nonsense.
Yeah, we're like, you're right, it is flat.
Yeah. Like
birds aren't real.
And that's how I knew. I was like, I gotta stop. 'Cause it's not that I'm easily influenced. I'm definitely...
You're a sucker for a good argument.
It's that saying, curiosity killed the cat. You will kill yourself by curiosity. At one point, you really truly have to understand where the mind goes, the energy flows. And that's like such a legit saying because my mind was on flat Earth, my energy went to flat Earth. I am a flat earther now. That's when I knew I was like, I can't do this again.
We'll take you to a rehabilitation clinic.
Yeah, the Earth is not flat. Look at this map. Look at this picture.
We'll take you to space.
That's the only way I'll actually... I don't even know. Yeah, that's when I'll be like, oh, that is round. That's a round Earth. Till then, there's just too many, like, the evidence could go both ways. Especially with deep fakes now. We're fucked. Like, we're so
AI
fucked.
deep fake?
Yeah, we're so fucked on knowledge. Like, if you don't know that's handwritten in the time that you're reading it, like if you don't know a material is literally from the 1850s, if you're reading something online that says it's from the 1850s and it has pictures from the 1850s, if it's online, you can't believe it. We're at that point where you cannot believe anything you read or see or hear online.
Yeah, we can like rewrite history now.
It's fucked up.
It is, but I like, even for like podcast reasons, I'm glad
we're doing this.
We're doing this because it's for me, that's like what you're saying is a push to be like, okay, if I don't like what I'm looking at, then I need to change what I do like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like things that where I'm like, oh well, at this point, I'm like, oh yeah, we should probably like, and I know when we started this, like talking to you about like, oh hey, like we have to start. I want to start talking with people more and more because what's happening in here IRL is clearly like what I need to be going off of because I don't know, like you think about as we talk about fantasies, like you, you might get you'll catch yourself. I feel like sometimes being on your phone, looking at something that will upset you for no reason, something that you're like that came out of nowhere that you're like, damn, why did this video cut? Like because sometimes it'll get to me, like I'll just be on there. Now I'm good, but like a year ago, I was like, what the fuck? Like where did this random video come from, and why is it in my feed? And if how do I say it? And I'm like, oh, I don't think what this person is saying is correct or right in any circumstance. And I'm like, but then I go to I blame myself. I'm like, but what am I doing that's any better? Yeah. Like things where you're like, damn, but what am I doing that's any better?
Yeah.
And
it was so fascinating. The other day, I was driving home and I thought to myself, I was like, damn, when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be old and like grown up. That way I could leave my house. Now that I'm old and grown up, it's so hard to leave my house. And I'm like, yo, that's the trap. Like, once it's hard to leave, that's the trap.
Yeah.
You have to be excited to go to the park. You have to be excited to go to the beach. You have to be excited to do the podcast. Because if you're not, you are trapped.
Some people aren't excited about anything.
Because they're trapped.
Because they are trapped.
I do not care. When you were a kid, you did not want to be home.
Yeah.
And you could argue that it was the parents, it was your siblings, it was the fact that you didn't have free will. But it's like, no, you take all that aside. If you just left a kid in the house, they do not want to be home.
Yeah.
Because they want to explore. Because their minds are mushy. They want to fill the mind. They know what the house feels like. They want to see what the river feels like.
Yeah.
They want to see what white rafting feels like. Bungee jumping.
Yeah.
If you are happy to be home, think about it.
Yeah.
For real, that really bothered me the other day because I was like, damn, I spend way too much time at home sometimes.
You do spend a lot of money to be at home.
That's another thing. Yeah, a lot of people in Orange County spend too much money to be home.
If I was paying too much money, I wouldn't be going out. I'm like, damn, I got a place I'd be paying for to hang out and drink.
Yeah. And I gotta take that back. If you're like, there's things that you can do at home that are definitely beneficial. I'm just talking about when you're like in bed doom scrolling on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, you're literally at home and you're hating it, and it's like and what to me it's like you don't want to be that. I feel like this is one person on like a generalization that you don't want to be when someone says, I really don't like the way that guy on the internet speaks of it. I'm like, but you keep sitting there. You keep sitting there watching it. Like it's like, you know what I'm saying. You're not quite. It's me questioning my own self when I'm doing stuff.
The AI that you talked about a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you watching that because you wanted to watch it, or are you watching it because the AI told you to watch it?
Yes, and then you get upset. Like I said, dude, I'll get upset. I'll be like, okay. Yeah, why? Like I said, what am I doing any better? Like things, I'll sit there and be like, what am I doing that's any better?
Yeah.
And like you said, you have to go back to that building home analogy, being home. What am I doing at home? Like I feel like that's something I don't know. I've always had to reevaluate.
Yeah.
And then it sucks every time.
I think the three of us are here because we're explorers. We like to expand our perspective. Especially you, Joel. You've gotten into so much different hobbies and passions, even from like a young kid.
Yeah.
Stepping
out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I do.
I feel like that's an artistic mindset. Not seeing things black and white. You're always in the gray. And then me and Isaac over here just stepping in the gray.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die on any hill.
Me and Isaac are like the captain of a couple hills.
Yeah,
we're leading the charge on a couple.
Yeah, I'm barely leading the charge. I barely made it to the top.
I question why you'd want to go get to the top of that hill.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's two different ways to live. Or it's all the same, That's the big debate. Is it two, or is it really duality, or is it singularity? If you bring any subject into debate, it's like you're arguing the same thing.
Yes, and then
You're debating whether or not we're similar, if we're thinking the same, or we're diverse. I don't care who you are.
Isaac, you question why we would water these fruitless trees.
I know it's a debate.
But the trees provide birds.
Yeah.
And maybe you can listen to the birds when you wake up.
Yeah.
And that might mean something. You might enjoy it. But what do the birds bring?
I think that's episode 10.
I think that's episode 10. I don't need any more debate in my life.
That was a good episode.